What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Beast for Build. Today's the day. The body goes on the frame today. We're gonna make it happen. That's what's in store. That's the game plan. That's what the whole episode's about. I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned. Eric and I are going to split up right off the bat here today. Eric's going to start working on these pieces of the frame right here. These, what are they? Support pieces. And then I'm going to head outside to the Datsun. And I'm going to start on what we talked about yesterday with cutting the bottom of, kind of like the bottom of the dash panel, this area right here. That's the thing I'm going to start on, is cutting all of this out. So I started cutting from the inside out, and you can see these lines right here is where I was kind of doing that, and it just wasn't very fast and wasn't very effective. So then I moved over here to the side parts and made my chop right along there with the reciprocating saw coming all the way through there, but leaving the inner dash panel fine, cutting a rough cut through the cowl that is not the final cut. What we're gonna do, I'll show you later, we're gonna clean that up, and then coming back over here and cutting down. Now I'm gonna jump on the inside and cut from the inside out on that lower dash panel down here. I'm gonna cut from the inside out with a reciprocating saw, and it'll catch some other craziness and stuff like that, but overall it'll be a lot faster, and we'll get that cut done, and then we can pull this front section out. All right, we got that front part all sliced off, so that's looking good. We also, made a much cleaner line, so it's an even spacing around here. I feel like now this is all gonna get covered by the cowl, but underneath there we can put a nice piece of molding right around here. I'm gonna have to buy some of that like a U-channel rubber molding. I'll order some of that online, and we can put that around there, and it'll kind of look like it's a cleaned up line a little bit. So what to do with this line? I taped off right here. I thought, okay, I'd like to cut out around there, and then I remembered, okay, well, this is also where we have to build our firewall. So we want to make kind of a straight line connecting that side to that side. That way we can go straight down with our firewall. So I got a laser level, and I'm gonna try and paint a laser onto here, going across here, so we have a completely straight line over the three-dimensional surface, and we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure if this is gonna work, but I need to borrow the tripod, because the camera tripod right here, we're gonna have to put the laser level on that so it stays still, and we'll try and set it up. Is that not crazy? Beast for Build 2018. We're using lasers and shit. Why don't I get a shirt that says that? Got a perfectly straight line right across there. Wonderful. Let's check up and see what Eric's been up to. Eric just finished up welding in the second set of supports for the frame, getting us ready to put the body on top of it. You can see it's just like what we did on the other side, and then he went ahead and ground everything down so everything is all nice and smooth and clean looking, which is awesome. The idea for this stuff is once you put some high filler primer over it and give it a paint job, it'll all look very nice and smooth and clean. So that's perfect. It's exactly what we wanted to do. Next thing Eric's gonna do inside here is he's gonna build a small support from here going into here, because he wants more things to tie this into this, just because the subframe is the subframe and that is so small. So I figure let's do it. It's basically the second set of boxing in that rail. So Eric's gonna go ahead and support in that while I'm outside cutting that straight line out of the body. Well, there we go. Perfectly straight line. Let's hope we didn't cut too much off. Next step, we gotta wait for Eric to finish up welding in those supports, and then we can bring this thing inside. All right, Eric just wrapped up welding in these support plates. There's one there, and then there's one here, and we have the other one on the other side, so that's awesome. It'll make it nice and strong in that section. So the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is drop the engine in. We wanna mount the body with the engine already in it. That way we're sure exactly where the body goes, but we already know that. It goes over the rear wheels, but we want to have it in there just in case. This is actually an Eric thing. Eric wants to have it in there. And then the other thing that we're going to do is double check that our entire frame is all square. Like that's exactly what we did in the beginning. It's measuring, you know, level, that side to that side, that side to that side. A lot of you guys mentioned when Eric started these drop downs that things moved and shifted a lot. I think that was just a little bit of pressure, because when you weld things, you heat them up. They want to, you know, they kind of want to change shape, and there's a lot of torque and a lot of pressure on different pieces, and a lot of it has to do with what is straight up and down on these main rails. So if one's a little bit like that and the other one's a little bit like that, and you weld them together, they go bong and they meet in the middle. So we will double check all of this, and we'll be 100% honest with our results and whatever we figure out, and I'll let you know. But I believe this whole thing's still square and still straight, but we will double check it before we weld the body on. Well, in case anybody forgot how ridiculous this V10 powered go-kart is that we're building, there we have it. The frame, so Eric pointed out something important. I wasn't checking for square, I was checking for level. But the frame is completely level, meaning all of these pieces are all 100% level to what they started at, and everything is all matching. So from side to side, that's level. This way to that way, that's all level and all good. So that's what I was really worried about, and it all looks great. So we're gonna move on, and what we're doing is we're obviously leveling that like just in the air, right? In space and time, that's level, 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 level. We'll bring the body over here and we'll do the same thing. And then we know that they'll both match. So the next thing we gotta do is, are we dragging the BMW out of here?
I think we should make a little bit more room.
All right, we've officially winched something. First time I've used that winch. Yeah, it's great. That thing's moved. We got space. Next thing we're gonna do is grab the 240Z body and walk it on into the shop, place it over the frame. All right, we got the body on the frame. It looks fantastic. I'm so happy to see it this way, but we don't have it welded on, and that was the goal. So this just turned into a 2-day episode. It's late, I'm going home. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, we're back for another day, and the goal is to get this thing welded onto the frame, body welded onto the frame and totally secured on here. So that means first we got to get the body kind of floating in the air in the exact right spot. Right now it's pretty low, it's way too low. So we're going to be raising it up, equaling it out, getting it placed exactly where we want it to in relation to the frame. And then we're going to use our fancy new bandsaw to cut some pieces of metal and we'll weld them in there. All right, we figured out exactly where we want the body to be. We got the height set and we got the width pretty close right now, but we're not gonna finalize it because we got some work to do in here. So before we weld onto this, we're gonna go ahead and weld a plate on so that we're welding from the plate to the frame rail. So we need to clean up this whole section right here. Then we're gonna cut a couple plates, and Eric's gonna weld one in here and one in over there, and then we'll go and build our pieces that weld from here to attach the body to the frame. All right, we got a plate right there and a plate right there. And those two plates are such a success, we're gonna move to the front and do 2 more plates. We're gonna hide them right behind cinder blocks and no one will see them. Camouflage plates. Okay, we've got our plates welded in all four corners. That's where we're gonna put our attachment posts that come out. For that material, we're gonna use the same material that the frame rail is made out of. This is 3x2 with a really thick wall. And now this isn't the only place, you know, I should mention that the body is gonna attach to the car, but this is where we're getting started. There's obviously in the back there, those frame rails are gonna go meet up with that back frame. There's on the roof, there's on the A-pillars, all sorts of good places. So right now, Eric and I are going to, once again, line up the car exactly perfectly on both sides. So there's an equal measurement, and then we're gonna measure how long of pieces we wanna make. We'll cut those out, tack weld those there in the back. So this is the beginning of what our rear mounts look like. Now this is just tack welded in because we need to test to make sure that the doors still fit, the rear hatch still fits, and all that good stuff. This one lays with it only 2 inches tall and 3 inches wide because the roll cage bar is going to come right off of here. It's going to weld in right here, and obviously there's going to be need to be a lot of gusseting and stuff involved in this, and that will come later. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on. I'm rolling solo now. Eric left. I'm going to move on to the front, and the front is going to be actually 3 inches tall and 2 inches wide. Comes off the front of this plate here and over to this, and it's actually a slight horizontal piece. If I do it right, it should match up with this line right here. Oh, this feels so good to have done. Just another milestone. Got the body officially welded to the frame on all four corners. It looks cool. It looks all like triangulated. I love the look of it, how that goes up and that goes in right there. It's just all like, whew. Starting to look more like a cabin, right? Also starting to look more like a car. So obviously we need to, the reason this is all just tacked up and not fully welded up is because we need to check that the doors still fit. I probably mentioned that like 3 or 4 times in this episode. I apologize. That definitely needs to happen. I won't forget to do it. It'll happen in the next episode. All right, guys, that is a wrap on this episode. We got the body welded to the frame. Next episode on this car comes out on Monday, and I'll see you guys then. Peace!